CEO, Occupational Health and Safety Manager Ehi Eden joins me now to discuss this issue. Good morning, Ehi.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you so much.
When you had this news, I wonder what came to mind, because before you travel, your information, details, and all is what the airport is supposed to have. And now this person's violating the travel protocols and government saying they are persons of interest, declaring them wanted, is quite worrisome and also generating some concerns that shouldn't we have their details to know how to trace and track them, because this is also part of the whole process when it comes to addressing COVID-19. And if we say we had put measures in place, should this have happened in the first place?
When I heard that story, read it for the first time, I felt really worried, and I just said to myself, another loophole in the system.
Right.
In as much as we are quick to apportion the blame on government's table, I need us all to understand that this is a system that was put in place, and what we have seen right now is system failure.
Right.
And looking at ways to rejig the system and block all the loopholes is what we should be thinking about. We have not really had issues like this to deal with. I mean, for the past century, and now we're having them to deal with. There will be pockets of mistake. It's a learning curve for everyone. Mm-hmm. I think what has just happened right now is a new learning curve. But having said that, I think we not just having that information before they travel. I think there were forms they were filling before they can board the flight coming to Nigeria. Now we have a lot of health officers that are actually domiciled at the airport right now to do the job. I don't know what happened. I mean, that people we escape. I mean, the protocol under the watch of this set of people. I think that this leads us gives us more reasons to be worried. I don't know what forms they fill at the airport, but I think if we have a form that looks that has a provision for accountability officer while the person is in the country, that accountability officer should be the person we should go for at this moment, right, to produce these people. But I'm sure those were not taken care of. I mean,
why? Because the person should have the details.
Yes, because when we see things like this, we must, in risk assessment, you think from end to end. Right. Think of the weirdest thing that could happen. They may not happen, but it's safer for us if we think of those the processes and able to, picture them through and put those protocols in place. Even if it don't happen, we are safer. We are safe for it. But if we don't have those processes, we're thought out and they happen. That's what we have right now. I think what we should look at for is go back to those systems that we have put in place. This just shows that a big gap or a big loophole. Let's try and fix it. This has happened. Let it be the last. But it poses a whole lot of public health interest, no doubt, and right. We have
because that was going to be my next question to you. How much of a challenge does we see where they're coming from? Brazil,
those are high-risk countries,
India,
3 countries, yeah.
Turkey, those are countries where, like you have rightly pointed out, high-risk countries where their strain is quite virulent. Sure. And so if we are saying that we want to ensure that we do not have this in place, in fact, when the index case happened, it seems this was what happened.
Exactly, same thing.
Now it's repeating itself. Have we really learned lessons?
Like I always say, history has taught us that we don't learn anything from history. And that's what has always happened. Here, things happen, we react. After the reaction, we all go back to sleep. But I think we should be creating proactive measures for us to curb these issues. Like you said, the Italian that came to Nigeria, similar case. It means in the airport there are gaps where we are allowing things to go. We should go back and look at the system, not just to declare the people wanted. Yes, I know, in as much as those people also didn't have good intentions for us all, because they know what could be the result of their actions. To our population, but that wasn't a good thing they did. But in as much as they have done those things, but we should go back to our system. Where did we miss it? What happened? Who was supposed to be responsible? Were there things that we should have documented that we didn't document? We should start fixing those things as a matter of urgency.
And holding people to account.
Accountable, yeah.
Now, talk to us about the implication of this, because the 8th of May, this is How many days afterwards? And we're still searching for this.
You see, this just punctures again the good work I think we have done in the country. And now we don't even know which location they are, which state they have gone into. And it may just be true. They are potentially infectious people.
Yes.
We're not sure. But it may just, what if they all turn out to be infectious? What happens to the population they've been working with? As a matter of fact, I think we should take this very, very seriously. And if we had envisaged this and start and make them to I mean, when you're taking about to quarantine, I mean, they should have somebody supposed to receive that person in this country. If they're expatriates, they work for companies in this country. Where are the names of those companies? Because I mean, they are under a certain quota. I mean, outside the ones who are even Nigerians, the ones who work in Nigeria, they are under a certain expatriate quota. I mean, in documenting them, you should be able to capture this thing. So that on its own is enough information for us to look for the company whose expatriate quota they are and fish those ones out. Then the ones who are Nigerians that came in from those countries, I think we just missed it. We should look for how to fix the system.
Where these people falsify information, what do you do? Isn't it possible?
For the expatriates, is difficult for them to falsify because one, you've seen their names, and this is where we also go back to data management in our country. You see their names, you're able to trace their name. If you really have data, you see Mr. Kim Woon from our data works for, yes, for instance, Mr. As he works for S&S company, and you see his name reflecting under that company. So when he gets missing, the company will bring him out. The company will bring him out. Then the Nigerians who came, I mean, if we really, I mean, maybe this is why the name will come and help us now. If we really have data, I mean, even Ghana, I mean, Ghana have data of everyone in the country. They are all indexed. So we're able to use data to say that this person, assuming is Tokumbo Shuwade, just a fictitious name. How you can say, okay, this is where he lives. Or this is where she lives. This is the street. Now you go to the street, we are looking for this person. They said, yes, we can't find out, but that's her family house. Through her family house, we are able to trace where this person is. And these are the things we should start fixing. This again also validate the fact that we don't have good data management system in the country.
Is that going to be a way for us to addressing this issue, blocking the loopholes, ensuring that every gap is bridged?
You know, when things happen, you have created a system. We should also understand that you have system failure, which of course we have right now. So what we should be doing right now is going back to the system we created and reviewing the entire system. Where were the gaps? Based on what has happened, I'm not saying it won't fail again. You see, when things happen, it takes you back to look at your system, the strength of your system, and how strong and reliable it was. Now, where were the gaps? What did you not get right? You look it through, block those gaps, then you bring the system down to review again, and let's independent mind review it. What could happen after? Find out that we have two, because what we do in quality checking is that after designing a system, you have 1, 2, 3 phases of quality checking those systems. So what you didn't see at the point of design, and the standard phase says, okay, well, if this happened, but that was never envisaged by you. What you have done is that because you have subject your system to a wider consultation, you are able to pull block those loopholes. And I think that's the point we're in right now. We should go back and see what we didn't do right and see how we can fix the system.
But for some, perhaps this should be a point where we begin to decide whether to have an outright ban of having persons from these countries come into the country.
That's another point you just raised, because most countries actually have put an outright ban on flights from these countries. But you know, I don't know why we always wait till the critical things happen, and that was what we did even when we had COVID-19, where countries were banning flight from certain countries. We left our airspace open. Those countries you mentioned, the number of countries, I mean Australia and all of them, they banned flight from these countries. So if we must keep our people safe, we understand that government is the custodian of public safety. If we must keep our people safe, we must, I mean, I don't know how much we want to get at a means of economic addition that we will now say, okay, these countries, yes, they be flagged as high-risk countries. You are allowed flights from, I mean, at the point that we are in, it's not safe. in such a time when it becomes safe, we can lift the ban. But at this time, let these flights not come to the country. If we do this, we won't be discussing the issue we are discussing this morning.
Now, the government is looking at penalties to put in place that it has put in place for these persons. And I wonder if these penalties are enough that could serve as punitive measures. It's saying cancellation of visa or permits of foreigners that have abused Nigeria's hospitality and prosecution under the 2021 Health Protection Regulation, as well as disabling their travel passport for a period of less than a year.
Yes. You put a penalty on these people, and they take the fall for what we didn't also get right. Yes, I understand that they also violated the process, but we also have our own selves to blame. Yeah, but even those penalties over time, for how long? They'll still get passport, and they still come back. I mean, to come back to the country or reapply, they come back to the country, but it's not just the penalty, it's the damage that this has done to our country we should be talking about, not the penalties. I mean, I don't know what we're going to do, but it really worries me, because finding that, I mean, Lagos is an epic center. These people may have moved to maybe remote areas where they work in, and these villagers, I mean, these people in these remote areas may not be, I mean, which of course we know in extreme villages, may not be following the clear COVID-19 protocols. They just leave themselves to I mean, infection, and this is where it really worries me. And
perhaps this is also a time to make people understand that we should take responsibility for our safety and our health. Our health and our safety, because we have seen governments always harping on people should adhere to the non-pharmaceutical protocols, yet it's a challenge.
See, the truth is, it is a human nature, in quotes, to be non-compliant. It's a human nature, and that happens. So, and that's where the consequences are coming in. But consequences are rather reactive rather than being proactive. So,
right.
What you've done is that the harm has been done. You're not punishing someone who did it, but the harm has been done. But if we also, I need us all to see this as our collective problem as a country.
That's it.
So that we all take individual responsibility. Because if you take your responsibility, I take my responsibility, Mr. C takes his or her responsibility, we are able to, I mean, to watch each other's back and secure ourselves in this country. But when we in the system now connive with those who are coming in also to take advantage of the loophole in the system, there is a problem. You're not doing us any good, no matter what you think you have made as gain. Because COVID-19, we're looking at does not discriminate. We don't know where you will be tomorrow, where your children, your relative, where they will be tomorrow. They might just be victim of the problems you created. So we should all collectively know that this affects all of us, and we should all take personal responsibility. It doesn't matter whether you're a president, you're a governor, you're a nobody, but we must all take responsibility.
Whoever you are,
yes.
It's not about your position,
yeah.
It's not about your color or tribe, it is not about what you have, it's about the fact that this is a health emergency and everyone has to take responsibility.
And we all need to be alive.
Very importantly, once again, let's please hammer on the aspect of the danger this issue is posing. On a general note, still talking on the fact that we are faced with different strain, because it seems some persons do not know that the Indian strain is already in the country before this declaration. And so the dangers it poses to you not taking responsibility. That is what I want you to hammer on. So
the strains, because if you look at South Africa, look at India and other countries, there are different strains. And that's why we talk about viruses. They keep mutating and transmutating.
Yeah.
So you may have been able to, maybe you think I had COVID-19 before, I fought it out. Understand that you can still have it again. So when we have different strains coming into the country, it makes it more complex, more complicated for us to manage as a country, because the symptoms a certain strain present may not be the symptom that the other strain might present, and this, if it's not well taken care of, it could devastate us as a people, because we're thinking of recovering, but now we are having these pockets of issues, which of course I think it further damages the motivation. I mean, those who are putting so much effort at putting and seeing how these issues have been compromised again, and see different strains coming to the country. It's a big issue, but I beg of you, please take your safety as a personal issue. You are told to wash your hands at any time, use sanitizer, wear your nose mask. I mean, avoid crowded places. We just have to do this continuously until we are told that it's time to go back to our life as it used to be. But at the moment, we are still where we are. Please let everybody contribute. And I mean, we all have to join hands to support the government protocols and ensure that we keep Nigerians as a country and as a people safe.
Very important point made there. CEO, Occupational Health and Safety Managers, Ehiden. Thank you for your time on the program.
Pleasure.